Hey everybody, Northwest Cavalryman here, and today we're having another video in my series of videos where I rank my 9mm firearms from 1 to 12, listing them in order from my least favorite to my favorite. Of course, there will be a video at the end where I put everything all together, but I do want to have these reference videos so you don't just get a video with my opinion and nothing to back it up. So I've broken down these videos in 15 different ratings, 1 to 12, and we're going to get into it right now with the Browning High Power. Now this particular Browning will fire without a magazine in the chamber. It's been set up that way, and it does improve the trigger a little bit. But the original trigger pull weight was around 6 pounds 14 ounces. It's still 6 pounds 14 ounces, and of course it's single action only, so it remains 6 pounds 14 ounces. As far as all my triggers, that's going to bring it in at 7 on the list as far as original trigger pulls and current trigger pulls, and number 2 on the list as far as a single action trigger pull that I have. Of course, some of my firearms have better single action trigger pulls than this one, but they are double single action, so that's why the discrepancy there. The trigger feel, that's nice. I'm going to give it a 7 because it is kind of heavy, and it's not as crisp as my TIOS, but doesn't have as good a feel as my TIOS, but it is still a great trigger. Nice and crisp. I'm going to rank that as number 7 amongst all of my firearms. So the trigger reset. That's the trigger pull right there. There's not a lot of take up. Right to the wall and then releases. On the reset, comes fairly far out, and then it doesn't have much slack at all, and comes right back into the break, which is really crisp. Show you that again. So all in all, a fairly nice trigger, and a pleasure to shoot. Trigger consistency, that's going to come in right behind my TIOS at number 9. You know, can't be any ties, so as close as it is to the TIOS, I'm going to give the consistency and the feel to the TIOS. When I was measuring the trigger pulls, I did 5 trigger pulls, and this came in just a little less consistent than the TIOS did. Ergonomics, this is going to be above the TIOS because I can get a full high grip on this gun. If you reviewed my TIOS video, you'll note that because of the hammer shape and style, it comes down and pinches me, but this hammer doesn't, because it is a traditional spur type hammer right there. So it doesn't come down and pinch me. I can get a higher grip on it, and it feels really nice, get a really nice high grip on that gun. So yes, I know I'm getting a fairly low score, number 3, because I just have a lot of really good guns, or that I feel are good guns and have really good ergonomics. So, but I do love this ergonomics, the feel of this firearm. So that's really good. The grip texture, you know, it's not bad. I really don't like the plastic grips. I would prefer wood or a G10 type grip. I do have G10 grips for this, but I'm not sure I'm going to put them on because I think I would prefer to put wood grips on, just like that I have on my TIOS, because it's not going to be a gun that I'm going to grab all the time to shoot, but I do want it to look good. It's a smooth back strap and a smooth front strap, although you know, it has been, not sure if that's an attempt at texturing, but it looks like it's been brushed. The metal's been brushed, but it really doesn't give you any more grip to it, or at least not that much. So I'm going to give the grip texture a 4. out of 12. Controls, quite similar to my TIOS. I gave TIOS number 2. I'm going to give this a number 1 because, well, it's an original. And you can't have any ties, basically. Now, I'm not really keen on this trigger safety. I don't think it's big enough. This frame-mounted safety that goes into slide, don't think it's big enough. However, that's the design of the high power. To operate the high power, they're meant to be carried with the hammer down, full magazine in, and nothing in the chamber. So when you draw, you rack the slide and you're ready to go. Now, if for whatever reason you don't finish the magazine, you need to stop shooting and you want to holster, then you engage the safety. That's what it's for. So it's limited use safety. Now, to take this firearm down, of course, you're going to bring back the slide, push the safety up, lock it into that secondary notch right there, and then just push up on the slide lock, slide release a little bit, and push through from the other side, taking out the slide lock, slide release, and then just releasing the slide and taking it forward. So it's fairly easy to take apart. To put it back, you put the slide back on, bring it back to that secondary notch, and put the slide lock, slide release into it. And then, of course, release your safety, and you're ready to go. Now, the weight of this gun, this is 831 grams, which comes in at 1.832 pounds or 29.35 ounces. So it's a little bit better than TIOS, just a little bit lighter. So that's going to bring it in at 7 out of 12. Recoil management. I can get a higher grip on this firearm because of the hammer not pinching, so I don't need gloves, and thus I can control the recoil just a little bit better, so I can get a higher grip on it. So that's going to come in at 1 point better than TIOS, and the recoil management is going to be 3 out of 12. Shootability. Recoil management and the whole bit, ergonomics, also how high I can grip it is going to make this firearm shoot just a little bit better for me. So I'm going to rank that 1 point higher than the TIOS as well and give it 4 out of 12. Historical significance. The TIOS didn't have any, however this does. This I'm giving 11 out of 12 for historical significance because it is a very historical gun. It was the last design that John Roses Browning worked on prior to his death, and it has become a staple in some armed forces around the world, and a lot of people still love this gun today using it. It was probably one of the first of the Wonder Nines because it accepted 13 rounds of ammunition in a magazine. So you know, way back in the day. So historically, it was used in a lot of militaries, and it was used on both sides during World War II. As a matter of fact, the Germans confiscated and took over the factory and started making these prior to the end of World War II and using them. Of course, they were used by the Commonwealth countries, Great Britain, Canada, and a lot of others. So a lot of historical significance there, and still, I think, a great platform for the hobbyists today. Probably not so much for military use because there's so many better options out there, but a lot of historical significance for them. Now, personal preference, going to give this number 3 because I'm going to probably choose this to shoot over my TIOS just because of the historical significance, and how well it shoots, and because it's an original Browning, it's not a clone. So personal preference, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 12. And aesthetics, now I'm going to give that one step below the TIOS, just because it does have a lot of wear to it, although not that much, and actually kind of consider it to be character. So I'm debating whether or not I should have actually rated this higher, but it does have the original grips on them, and the original grips that came on the TIOS were, in my opinion, nicer. So aesthetically, I'm going to give this firearm 1 point below. I also am not a big fan of the lanyard loop, so it's going to come in just a tad lower than the TIOS at 5 out of 12. So altogether, when you add them all up, that's 79 out of a possible 180, just beating the TIOS by 4 points. So I'd like to thank you for viewing this video, and all of my rankings will be put together in one video, but you will have these reference videos to find out how I came to that choice of my top 12 9mm handguns. Hey everybody, Northwest Cavalryman here, and if you enjoyed this video or any of my videos, please click subscribe and like. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you next time.